Like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds so your homies won't kiss you goodnight. I wouldn't risk it. What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over your full in-depth guide on how to place in the Chapter 2 Season 8 Solo Cash Cup. We're going to be going over things like point format, play styles, methods to cope with tilting, what the best loadouts are. It's going to be a really good video. I hope you enjoy. Let's get right into it. For the point format, it is exactly the same as last season. A ton of people think they need to drop like a 20 kill win, a super high kill win for their first 1 to 3 games. You know, in that first hour, you need that high kill win. It's just not true, guys. Literally, if we take a look at the leaderboard over here, you know, Moose dropped a 28 kill win. Look at Death, exact same amount of points, 77th, 3rd, 4th, 9th, 3rd, 4th, 4th, 1st. He didn't even get a win in his first 3 games. Guys, a first with up to 10 kills or less is what you want to be going for. I mean, Bacon, first with 3 kills, first with 5 kills. Savage, literally first with 13 after his 3rd game. That was because he was already in a higher point lobby because he got 7 elims off rip. All the good players who died got that. Trashy, 11 elims. So this format kind of sucks in my opinion. What are the important point thresholds? Literally, if you get top 10, you've gotten 11 out of the 30 points for a win. So you haven't even gotten half of the points and you made it to the top 10. If you're doing really well, some of these games are super stacked. And top 10 is actually pretty good, but it's really bad in this format. You always want to be going for a top 5. You'll be getting over half the points in a top 5, and you'll be getting some kills in top 5, obviously. Just make sure, you know, you're getting your refreshes at the right time, that you're not being too aggressive, and aim to play consistent. You know, you want to get that first with 10 kills or less. If you get a 5 kill win, it's fine. Just make sure you're consistent. That's what Death did. Why his history is so important. 3rd, 4th, 9th. That 9th place, he only got 12 points. 0 elims, wasted 23 minutes. He could have won the cash cup if he got a better placement in that 9th. 3rd, 4th, 4th, 1st. Like, he played so consistently well. It's just insane. Make sure that you guys are playing to the format. If you're not going to have a good game, key someone until you have a loadout that you're confident with. Maybe you have some mobility. It's not worth playing out a game that you're completely shambles in, because you're not going to be able to get your refresh. You're not going to be able to place well, and you're just going to be wasting your time. Unless you don't have any games left, in that case, you might as well play it out just so you could try and get your highest placement that you can. Now let's talk about drop spots. So Quinn came out with a great video. Rich Homie Quinn, go check him out. The 18 best solo landing spots for Solo Cash Cup. Now, my top 3 from it are going to be Pleasant Spire, Camp Cod Cube that gives you full shield, and the Weather Station by Steamy all the way at the top of the map. Now, if you don't like any of those 3 drop spots, go check out the video. It covers 15 other ones. There's a Slurpee IO that I mentioned. There's Risky. There's a new alien crash sites. Just go check it out. It's a great video. It's going to give you the information that you need. If you don't like one spot, you'll definitely like another. It's 18 of them. So if I were you and I'm trying to figure out where to land in the Solo Cash Cup, what I'm doing is I'm going into replays of this recent Solo Cash Cup. And I'm getting 3 drop spots that I'm interested in landing at, and I'm marking how many times they're contested. And I'm going through 10 games of the first place player, of a top 100 player, just someone. Make sure it's 10 of their games, the same person, so that you're getting different lobbies each game. See how many times that they are contested, and if that spot is uncon more than others, and it has enough loot and floor spawns to get your pads, then I would definitely be going there. That's how I decide where I drop. You can place at any of the spots that he went over. Alright, so let's say you've had a bad couple of games, you're starting to tilt. What should you do? Well, first of all, you should be chewing gum. Gum is scientifically proven to lower stress and keep you more focused. But also, we want to break that immersion a little bit if you're getting super frustrated at the game, like I do sometimes, especially in Solo Cash Cups. Guys, you're going to have some bad games in Solo Cash Cup. The likelihood that you are not going to have at least 2 deaths off spawn, that you're not going to have some stupid thing happen to you, that you're not going to get shot through a build, that you're not going to have a build not placed, that it's going to be too laggy, you're going to get shot around a corner. Something bad is going to happen in the Solo Cash Cup, and you need to be able to prepare for it. Most of the time, people are going to tilt. I tilt. It happens to the best of us, but you need to have ways to cope with it. So if you have a pet, I recommend just getting up while you're in queue, maybe take 5 minutes. Go hang out with your pet. Another thing, just walk around, literally grab a glass of water, walk around. You need to break that immersion that you're in. Also, another thing, 5 minutes, just stand up, walk up, get back. Put on your favorite creators montage. It's hard in this scene to not be like, yeah, dude, I'm ready after watching someone else's Taj. You know, it gets you hyped. It's their best clips. You're like, I'm gonna do that. But don't get too aggro, obviously. Use it to motivate you. You might get your best pop-off clip in the end game. Don't go out of your way to keep mid-game. Again, guys, bad things are gonna happen to you. It's solos. It's very hard to get extremely lucky the whole way through. And if you do, obviously you're gonna place. But if not, you need to be able to handle it so that you're able to place. Now, let's talk about loadouts. There's a few items on the map that you're wondering if you should pick up. The Mythic Og, for example. In solos, I personally don't recommend it just because a lot of fights come down to in the box. If you're able to hit your shots with an Og in close box with a 2-tap burst fire, I mean, it does 80 damage body just by hitting 2 shots. But I personally don't like it. I like being able to full auto guns, so I recommend AR. Now, another thing, the harpoon. Harpoons are back. I recommend picking up harpoon. If you're in a spot that could fish, I recommend fishing. Minis, fishing, harpoon, that's what I rock. I'm a huge harpoon player. I like to get AR frags and then just harpoon the loot. I like to steal other people's loot and harpoon it. I don't like getting close and personal. I don't like having to risk that and get out and try not to die. It's just not worth it in my opinion. But if you guys are comfortable box fighting and in a box, then don't take the harpoon. Take peppers. If you guys have a spot that you could take peppers over that, especially if you don't have a pad. If you don't have a pad, you're risking it. In this meta, a lot of people, they can't survive without a pad. It's really hard. They will literally wait until last second to rotate because they know they're going to get servered, and then no one had a pad around them and everyone on Edge of Storm died. You need to try and have a pad this meta. If not, peppers are so good. Literally take peppers over harpoon if you're not a harpoon player. If you're a harpoon player, take harpoon. Chug splashes, they're pretty good, but if you're able to have floppers, take floppers over chugs because you're going to be able to stay in storm longer. You're going to be able to also do that shadow flop strategy that everyone's talking about right now. It's really good. That's how Savage plays. That's how a ton of people plays. You know, that kid on EU plays. Take shadow floppers if you can, especially if you have a pad or if you're able to find a pad, place it. If not, it's just good for rotating. Look at this clip. I'm literally just rotating with it. Not getting shot at once, just layer changing, going up and down. No one notices you. It's hard to even spot you, especially in the chaos at endgame. Shadow floppers are really good. Your main rotation items this season are peppers, spicy fish, shadow floppers, cubes, and pads. Try to always have one in your inventory. It's going to be your best bet. If not, you're going to want to go for a refresh. There's no point in you playing the game out with nothing and being complete shambles. If you have a spaz, good shield, good mats, then honestly play the game out. You don't need the mobility. You can get a refresh with that kind of loot. But if you're like gray pump, green pump, gray R, FAMAS even, 3 minis, you know, if you're shambles, go for the refresh, guys. Now, sideways weapons, don't go for them. It's not worth it. Even if you make them mythic, they aren't strong enough. The pullout time with fire rate just isn't worth it. And I think that covers everything. If I missed anything, leave a comment down below and I'll respond to it. Now guys, before we wrap up this video, I want to make sure that I tell you guys that you need to VOD review. So the reason I'm telling you need to VOD review, especially if you're not placing, is because you're going to find out the simplest mistakes that you're making. But don't spend hours a day doing it. Don't spend hours VOD reviewing your mid game, your rotations, your early game. Spend each day spending maybe 5 to 20 minutes looking at 2 to 3 games and seeing what you did wrong, either in the end game, either in the mid game, or either in the early game. Don't spend the entire session looking through the game. The reason I'm saying this is important, literally, I noticed the simplest mistake that I make. I kept dying to people spraying out my tops or floors when I rotated in end game. That's a super simple mistake, but it'll get you killed every game. Especially with the audio and end game, if it's a stacker, you know, it's hard to hear people above you. Now I hold my floors and tops and I place at least 5 places higher each game. I'm going to VOD review this last cash cup. You will do better if you VOD review. If you want to get your best placement this season, you have to be getting top 5s and a win in the first 3 games. You don't have to win. Obviously, we saw that one guy. He did pretty good. But yeah, just make sure you guys are playing safe. Hey guys, that's basically the end of the video here. You know, we went over the point format, playstyle. Make sure you're playing for a win with 10 kills or less, and then playing consistent from there. There's literally no secret formula. You don't need to have a W key game. You don't need to play all of your games out. We saw a few of them didn't have 10 games played. Literally just play for the top 5s. Placement is so important in this game. Now, if you have 15 minutes left and you have 3 games left, play for a little more hot drop. If you have good loot, play that game out. Seriously, you don't have to leave your W key game. You're getting all your points in the end game anyways. Like we saw, 11 out of 30 of your placement points are in the top 10. At most, you got top 75 in your key game off the rip. That's 1 placement point out of the 30. All your placement points are in the end. It's still going to end up being stacked, just not as stacked. Literally, if you have good loot in your key game, play it out. If you have 3 games, I only recommend doing the key strat. If you have 2, it's worth landing your spot. And then if you die off spawn, you still have that extra game. We also went over methods for tilting and the loadouts you should be using. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like. Make sure you subscribe. YouTube's telling me that like 90% of you aren't subscribed that are watching my videos. I really appreciate all you newcomers coming out and showing support. It really has been amazing, all the support on this channel recently. I hope you guys do place. Let me know what place you got recently in this cash cup and what place you're trying to get. Are you trying to get top 100? Are you trying to get top 50? Are you trying to place? What region are you on? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next one.